Jared Weiss.
Hey, Brad, did the refs give you an explanation for the whole hostile act review with Giannis and why they didn't call a personal foul in the situation?
No, they just said he didn't get hit in the stomach. They said they could not call a personal foul. So that must be when you go to the review to see if it's a hostile act, I guess you can't call a personal foul. So that was what they told me, and so we moved on.
John Corrales. Oh, go ahead, John.
Sorry, you got me now?
Yep.
Hey, Brad, it seemed like when you guys had multiple attacks to the paint, things opened up. But then obviously you go to just a straight line drive and you get swallowed up. What did you see and why wasn't that happening more? Why weren't the multiple attacks happening more?
I mean, that's one of the first things we talked about going into these games against Milwaukee. They're so good at defending the rim on the first drive. And their length is different. Their length feels different when you're playing against it. Shots that you're used to going in and scoring, they do a great job of going vertical and not fouling with guys that are 7 feet plus. They're drop back to protect. And so you just have to trust the drive and the second drive. And we did that at times really well, and at other times we didn't do as well. But our compete level was good, and there's a lot of good things to build off of and a lot of things that we can learn from.
Question in person, Gary Washburn.
Hey, Brad. Two things. Falling behind 15-2, could you have asked what kind of went on early in the first 5 minutes?
Yeah, I thought we had multiple possessions where we had like 4 guys really guarding, and we just made a mistake, like one mistake, and they exposed it. And then on the offensive end, I just thought we were a little passive early, and we got to moving it, as John mentioned, with some better second attacks than we did in the first couple of minutes. I think that was probably not a huge surprise at some of these games, and maybe we're an example of that where you'll start slow, but I thought the way we played the rest of the game was pretty darn good, and did a lot more good things than bad. But we need to play. We need to play better to beat these guys. They're really good.
Any attempt to insert Kemba in the fourth quarter with the game closed?
No. I'm not playing that game. I'm not like, hey, Kemba's knee is the most important thing. We're trying to strengthen it. This is 18 to 20 minutes, whatever he ended up with. That was part of the plan. We weren't going to stretch that. It's hard, Gary, after you come out at the end of the third and then be inserted for a couple minutes. But no.
Brian Robb.
Hey, Brad. Obviously, one of the toughest shooting nights for Jason in his career. Was it? You just see one of those nights for him? How did you kind of assess how his night went?
Yeah, I mean, he got some decent looks off pick and rolls. They did a good job loading up to him. They did a good job at the rim on him, and he'll go back and look at it. And he had a couple nights like that early in the season too. And least of our concerns is him finding the net. That's what he does. So he'll be fine.
Abby Chin.
Hi, Brad. Sorry, I'm in the studio. Marcus Smart, when he came into the game in that first quarter, changed the complexion. What can you say about him tonight and just the mindset that he's coming into this restart with?
He was good. He always is a good lift. Is a good pick. He picks you up regardless if he starts or if he comes in. Just has a good way about him. And he was clearly engaged and played really well. And I thought Brad played and did a lot of good things next to him. So yeah, I thought Marcus was very good tonight.
Final couple of questions, Mark D'Amico.
Hey, Coach, just to follow up on that, you touched on Brad. Can you elaborate just on what you liked that he brought to the table tonight and how important he was to you guys staying in this game all night?
Brad, I just think Brad, Brad is good in the situations where you create a ball reversal and close out, and then he makes a second drive, as John alluded to earlier. He's got a good feel for that, and so he keeps the ball popping for us in a lot of ways. Some of our best possessions of the night were when he was on the court, but we just can, there's a lot to improve upon. But Brad did a lot of good things.
Tim Bontemps.
Hey, Brad. We've obviously talked a lot about Kemba. You said this week he looked really good in practice. He seemed to look really good on the court in the minutes he was out there. I assume that was one thing you're pretty happy with today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm way more encouraged than discouraged, Tim. I mean, we haven't played for 4 months. We played a really good team. Giannis is a handful. We didn't start off well, and we had the ball down 3 with a minute whatever left. So we did a lot of good things, but Kemba certainly was a positive, I thought. He just puts so much pressure on the defense when he comes off pick and rolls and with his speed.
Final question, Amanda Pflugrad.
Hey, Brad. Heading into this matchup, you obviously said that it would be a challenge, but you guys would learn a lot about yourselves. I'm just curious, what was the biggest lesson that you learned, or what do you take from a matchup like this?
I just think your margin for error is small. So, when I look back at this game, this will probably be, when we thought we had looks at the rim, that they closed down the path, and oftentimes when you miss layups or when you get shots blocked, it leads to runouts. That happened to get us against Milwaukee 2 years ago in the playoffs, let alone last year. And then the other part was we fouled jump shooters. And, it's hard because we're really trying to pressure and get up into people. And at the same time, that's your margin doesn't allow for that, like against Milwaukee. We just got to be a little bit better. But the competitiveness is the most important thing. And all that other stuff, we'll be in good shape. We'll make sure that we get better at all that stuff from film. And again, I got a lot of encouragement from watching us tonight.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.